almost killed a celebrity with a giant back.
I mean, that at least is a con story.
One of them, yes. Not only is it a con story, but it proves that I have this weird aura about me where random shit is going to happen to me, and I'm going to sit there going, why? The voting machine is actually another example of that.
See, here I thought you were gonna, when you mentioned rain and all that, here I thought you said you were going to touch it and you dripped water all over the screen and shorted it out.
No. No. We use Scantrons.
So do we, but... all the stories I've been hearing lately are from people who have to use the touchscreens.
No, in my case, what happened was... Oh, I did say it earlier, but for those that missed it, we used Scantrons, and I kind of caused a paper jam because my jacket was wetter than I realized, and I got the paper wet. Even better, like, when I read it, they obviously mark my ballot as spoiled. And I had to redo it, and I took my jacket off because I'm like, again, wow, I'm an idiot. I go behind the person, and I look at the, you know, I'm waiting, and there's something wrong with the voting machine. At first, you know, like, the guy said, oh, I hope it doesn't jam, you know, after I went up there, and, like, this little old lady's trying to vote. And, yeah, she already had a spoiled ballot anyway, because she double-marked something, apparently, but that happened after. But I look, and I realize what's going on, because I was just there, and I had to redo it. So, you know, it clicked in my head. I look at the guy in front of me, he's about my age. I go, oh god, I broke the machine. I'm literally going, oh god, I broke the machine. He's like, no, you didn't break the machine. Like, no, I literally broke the machine. I caused like, he's trying to calm me down, like, oh god, she's having anxiety. Like, no, I literally broke it. So when I go up and I do it, and, like, the ballot's, like, dry and nice and all that, and the dude that helped fix it, and I'm like, I can't believe I broke the machine. And the guy was like, oh, you're the one that broke the machine? I'm like, yes, sorry. They're laughing their asses about it.
That's my bad.
It's like, I took responsibility for it because I figured if I'm at least honest about it, I won't get in any trouble, because I was a little worried, like, oh, I did a dumb, I am in big trouble now. But, again, I did vote, I did do all that good stuff. And now I can tell people, I broke a voting machine! Because I do dumb things.
Congratulations, you're now part of the conspiracy, and Alex Jones will talk about you.
No, he's not allowed to talk about... I voted Democrat! Well, one, I had to vote independent because there was no Democratic candidate, but...
That should only be for the primary.
No, it was an independent candidate. Because it was like local elections as well as the big elections here.
Yeah.
So I did like a sweep of Democrat, and I got to like 3 of the district judges or something, and there was nothing in the Democrat party line for one of them, because you had to pick 3. So I'm like, well, I don't want to give this seat to a Republican, so I went down to see if there was like anything that didn't even seem Republican. So I voted for an independent candidate. That's what I mean. So
I had to vote for a libertarian because it was either that or a Republican.
ooh.
It was like,
Well, libertarians on a lot of things I do agree with socially, so I didn't even get the libertarian. Like, the only other thing was reform, and I don't know what reform is, but I have a bad feeling that's a Republican-like party.
it depends what they're trying to reform and in what method.
Well, I don't know, so I wasn't going to trust that. And there was a conservative party, and I'm like, yeah, no.
Because generally libertarians are just Republicans that want to smoke weed. Generally.
No, as I said, socially I agree with libertarian policies more, so if I really have to pick between a Republican and a libertarian, I'm going to pick the libertarian.
Oh, I'm out of energy.
But I will not, under any circumstances, vote Republican right now, or anything I think would be Republican.
Yeah, anybody that... How do I put this? Anybody that still willingly aligns themselves with Trump. Yeah, no.
Like, I'm pretty sure most libertarians don't align themselves with Trump. I don't know.
Like I said, it depends what type of libertarian they are. But more than likely they are, a libertarian is the, believes in strong objectivism. Which means they read Ayn Rand as a teenager and agreed wholeheartedly with it, and haven't outgrown that yet.
I have an uncle who may be kind of like that, but not really. I don't know. I doubt he voted Trump, though, because nobody in my family can really stand him.
Yeah, personally, I only have a few coworkers that actually like Trump in any measure. One of my coworkers actually keeps a small bust of Donald Trump at his cubicle.
Maybe it's a voodoo statue?
No, because he's got a little GOP elephant situated right next to it.
Amonimus, your tower is an attraction. There are little animals climbing it.
That's interesting.
That is very interesting. I find that very funny.
They're getting stuck on the tower on the way to the shop.
They're purposely going to the tower.
Hey, if you could get away with charging for tickets, go for it.
Why not?
Well, no, they're not purposely going straight to the tower. The tower is just in the line of walking on at least one vector from their entry point to the shop.
That is so
I
cute.
can kind of see them over there trying to run up the tower and getting stuck a little ways up.
Look, there's a blip face. Blip. My, yeah, This is why I don't have an actual political affiliation. I don't register as a party of any kind. I agree with bits and pieces of all of them. So, but I also disagree with bits and pieces of all of them.
Okay, here's the thing. No political party is perfect. None.
Yeah, I know.
No political party will ever align with you 100% unless you start your own. That is the only way you're going to get a political party you 100% agree with. So, I know it hurts and it doesn't make me feel good, but in the US, we have a two-party system. You can say we have independents, you can say we have libertarians, you can say we have a Green Party, you can say whatever you want. We have two parties with any power whatsoever. If you want to get anything done, you're part of those two parties. It's not good. It's not right. It's not fair.
But we have to.
It's reality.
No, it's just I don't personally feel comfortable doing it. But if I, like I said, I did a straight Democratic sweep.
Yeah.
Because, this was not a, I prefer this candidate or this candidate. No, this was I need to lock the government in. This was a necessity vote.
Yeah.
For me. And I understand that.
I registered Democrat.
I do have another reason I will not register. My dad was a registered Republican, and he regretted it.
My dad was a Democrat.
The reason my dad was...
When I was young and believed I knew exactly how the world works, I registered Republican and we got into some debates. Because I was young and thought I knew how the world worked.
I only see you as a Republican, to be honest, but...
Way back when. I mean, we're talking way, way back when.
Before I could vote.
When I was, 18, 20...
Yeah,
maybe to 25. So right as you were coming of voting age, I believe, is when I finally, I kind of actually had to live in the world. Actually had to deal with the real world instead of just me being, a teenage shithead. Because let's face it, if you're a teenager, you are a shithead. That's just the way things are. Because ain't no teenager anywhere that actually knows anything. And all of them want to believe they know it all.
I just, honestly, in my case, it is a comfort thing for me. I mean, obviously I go to elections and I vote. God, why wouldn't I? But I don't, like, if I could, I would try to start up my own political party. I'll be perfectly honest.
Yeah.
Because my other problem is the people that run in these political parties, I don't think they fully toe the party line. Jeez.
No, they don't. Very few of them will actually, quote-unquote, toe a party line of any, magnitude. But in general, they will, their interests will generally align more with the party they register as than it will the other one. That's kind of about all you can really count on.
Also, I don't feel experienced enough, personally. Okay, yeah, I'm 36 years... I'm going to be 36 tomorrow, so not experienced enough probably isn't a great excuse, but you know what I mean. It's something I consider very careful.
The good thing is you are not actually locked into it. You can change your affiliation.
Yeah, I know. If I want to change and give myself a party or something, I will do that. But I kind of need an affiliation first. It's like I'm one of those people that's actually neutral but understands. Like, I will not excuse Trump or any of the conservatives for anything they're doing because it is wrong. I will not defend somebody who does racist or Nazi things because, dude, human decency is kind of a thing.
Yeah. Also, on the topic of Nazis, you don't debate them. You just don't. A debate should be between two people who are trying to reach a consensus in the middle somewhere.
Yeah.
Okay?
It's the same with...
You should be actually open to moving, your goalpost somewhat in the you should be able to be open to convince that they make the argument, but when you're talking to a Nazi,
you can't do that.
Where are their goalposts? Genocide. You can't move towards that ethically.
Here's the thing, I also don't advocate punching them, not because, oh, you shouldn't punch them because that's not the right thing to do. They're not worth going to jail over. Okay? Don't waste your energy punching a Nazi, going to jail, or having them retaliate.
Okay, here's the counterpoint to that. If, by punching a Nazi, you cause more Nazis to go hide, I don't know, I would consider that a worthwhile trade for the
thing
assault
is,
charge.
My worry is it's not just the assault charges, because if the Nazi is dedicated enough, they can be violent. You could get
if they
killed.
start swinging back,
Run! I'm sorry, run. Don't fight back. Run. You got your slug in, book it, because they're going to try and kill you. This is why I don't advocate... I don't like violence in general, okay? I don't. I think it's stupid. If you need to defend yourself, fine. But don't go around randomly punching people, whether you agree with them or not, because... Come on, dude. No. You're an idiot. No! Because more than likely they'll swing back! I don't want to see people get hurt, so... What you do is you report them. You warn people about them. You get their picture and you humiliate them online like a decent person. Plus, they don't know who the hell you are. They're not going to find you.
That's why you wear a bandana, take the first swing, and keep running.
Again, they could have a knife and go... Or a gun and go...
If they see you coming...
Even if they don't. Again, this is more of a do not do this, you could get hurt. And I am a logical pacifist in that I don't believe in attacking somebody. Humiliation's fine. I'll wear a bandana and hold up a sign over their head that says, I'm an idiot!
Or you could do what the one dude did to the severely homophobic preacher that kept showing up at campus.
What did he do?
There was a dude, I don't remember names or anything like that, but in short, this guy would come to just start doing the whole Jesus, they should burn in hell and blah 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 to everybody, that regardless of anything. But it was a fairly liberal college, so, he was...
Of course, he goes, that was mistake number 2. Mistake number 1 was being a homophobic preacher, but... But
one of those, but this one guy, who could easily pass for a Hell's Angel, by the way, the dude looked the part. Just walked up calmly and got in the guy's face, and every time the guy opened his mouth to say anything, the biker-looking dude would go, no! And just keep that up.
Now
And
you
the
see
biker
that?
dude had lungs.
I would hope so, but you see, that's funny. It's shutting down the message.
And at one point in one video, because he's done this multiple times, apparently, and I'm pretty sure it may have been a fever dream or something like that, but I remember at one point in time, during one of them, he was, I'll even be like the cat online. No, 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 no.
I have a feeling with me and my friends, if we ran into a Nazi, we would start doing like the stupidest shit to interrupt him. Like, I'm feeling I'd be going, and ladies and gentlemen, this is how you be a complete asshole. Note the racist language. Note the fact he knows nothing about anything. I bet you he couldn't spot the Jew standing next to him. Like 3 of us are standing next to him. And technically I'd be the Jew because I'm part Jewish. I have a Jewish grandmother.
Well, yeah.
But I do not understand that mentality. I do not understand being racist anymore. It's a fear. They're afraid because it's change and they don't like change.
Not even that. It's not even that. It is, you need someone to be better than. Largely, that's exactly what it is. You need someone to be better than. You need an other. You need an enemy.
I have an irony to this. That means they are our other. Only if you were to ask an outsider, we are the more justified ones.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. They are basing their other on circumstances outside of the person's control. They are saying, well, that person's an other because they have dark skin, or because they're not from this country, or because they don't speak this language. Something that's generally not in control of the person they're othering. Whereas we are othering them based on conscious decisions and actions they are taking.
Yeah.
There's a difference between, there's a difference between being an intolerant bigot and being not a sensible tolerating the intolerance. There's a difference.
Yeah, you don't tolerate the intolerance.
No, I mean, it's been going around Tumblr for a while, but there's a comic made by one of the people over at the Nib that pretty distinctly show why you don't do it. And it's because if you start allowing the intolerant viewpoints into your society and give them purchase, all you will be left with eventually is the intolerant bigotry as they drive away and do away with the tolerant viewpoints.
Reminds me of that poem. Is like the end of it is when they came for me, there was nobody left to stand up.
Yeah, first they came.
Yeah, that's the name of it.
That is the name of it. First they came. First they came for this group, but I wasn't one, so I didn't speak up. But no, if you allow an intolerant group to gain purchase and have their ideas accepted in the marketplace of ideas, for lack of a better term, then it allows people to go, well, okay, well, if their ideas are valid, then that means the people they hate must actually be worth hating.
Which, I don't...
Which, that's not something you should agree with.
And
you should not agree with, that type of viewpoint. But yeah, as your biology will show you that humans are pretty much all identical.
Yeah.
I mean, mean, yes, our genetic code has a little bit of a scramble to it, and we do have, 26 pairs of chromosomes that can have some subtle differences to them.
Yeah, but look at, like, various patterns on butterflies or moths or anything else. Same thing happens. Here's... we're in a really weird story. This is... I used to do a podcast with a couple of other people, and it was like an atheist science broadcast because it was a bit more in that scene. Scene's kind of died down a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And we interviewed somebody who was a black Israelite.
Okay.
Now, this is a group, they are not Jewish. They don't like Jewish people. They basically insist they are descended from a tribe of Israel and they are superior to everyone else. And this is an African-American group.
Okay.
So, and we're being very polite and nice.
Didn't they have a lot of ties to, like, Louis Farrakhan?
I don't know who that is.
He was a huge black power figure in the 70s and 80s.
I don't
and
know.
Also also very anti-Semitic.
Maybe, I don't know. We were talking to this guy, and we were very polite to him. And he was showing us all this crazy shit, like, oh, the Vikings also came from... we're also black. I'm like, dude, I'm because I'm actually part Norwegian. I have a weird bloodline. I'm part Norwegian. Due to the evolutionary need of not needing melanin, we didn't end up black. I think you're taking the evolutionary science of life started in Africa and, mutating it.
Yeah, you're filling in the gaps with theory instead of actual science when you do that.
What I did or what he did?
What he did.
Yeah. And he was trying to show, like, these old pictographs as proof that we're like, no. And keep in mind, I'm not mentioning his race. I'm not even assuming his race. I'm being very polite to him, and I'm saying, like, dude, this is kind of how the science works. I'm not calling him stupid. I'm not even saying, like, oh, your theory is so stupid, this is why. I'm like, dude, no, really, it's not like that. And, he's like, oh, anyone who's a blue... So you're saying even though I have been nice to you, I've been polite to you, I have said nothing about your race, I'm racist? Yes! We hung up the call on him right then and there. Because he was starting to get rude with us. He was getting mean to us, actually. And I sat there dumbfounded, and I went, wow. And this is the weird thing about me. If you are racist like that in any race group, my big issue with you isn't that, you're hating on because of an other. I see you as an insult to the rest of the group you're in. Like, if that dude was black, I see him as an insult to other people who are African. Because, no! Is that weird?
It gets into a lot of subjects that I am not qualified to opine upon. I will say that.
Well, my point is that I judge purely by action. Like, I'm not going to say I'm colorblind, because obviously I'm not. I can't be. But, because nobody can really be colorblind, I understand that. But, for me, all skin color or nationality or language tells me is where you're from, who your ancestors were, and whether or not you need sun lotion when you're out in the sun.
And that's fine. I mean, but there are a lot there's a lot in your story that has to get unpacked, and because I
Yeah.
wasn't there, I can't make a whole lot of
It was a long time ago,
Yeah.
but you know,
But there are a lot of things that, I mean, for example, the person you were talking to might have had quite a bit of history where they would get to one of their theories about, you know, the Nordics being dark-skinned. And at that point, they're used to one of two responses. They would either, you know, gain some acceptance with the people they were talking to, and keep in mind I'm theorizing here based on kind of what I've seen make people have the reactions that this person had. Either they found acceptance or they got laughed at. And there's not a whole lot of in between. And I mean, I'm not saying you did. I'm not saying you did. I'm saying that this was his experience up until then. So he kind of defaults to getting overly defensive once he starts getting pushback. You understand what I mean?
yeah. And I even said, if you can give me like more scientific evidence of this is what it actually was, you know, I'd be a little more open to it. It'd be a very interesting thing. Because, you know, it would actually prove a lot of things. It'd prove a lot of racist people wrong, that sort of thing.
But it's one of those things, it's either I mean, I'm not saying that that's what happened, but I'm saying that I sense a pattern had developed in him, you know, sticking his neck out there talking about it, where he would either gain acceptance or he would get ridiculed. And he based on your reactions and the reactions of the other people with you, he probably didn't see it too likely that he was going to gain the acceptance. So in his mind, there might have only been the other option.
Which we didn't.
Yeah, I know what you didn't do, but that's his experience up to that point. So it's like, oh man, I better jump on this before the ridicule actually happens.
Yeah.
You know, like I said, I'm not saying that that's what it was, but you know, I've seen that type of thing.
I would say that is part of it, but he also said like, well then what makes me racist? And he immediately said, you're white. That was like, really?
Yeah.
That's. And we were all, and keep on. He said some things. I'm like, well, that would be kind of interesting. Like, if you have the proof, or we can dig up the proof, start looking for it. You know, because we were on the internet. We were willing to do that. I'd be like, well, it would be cool if there were black Vikings. You know, that would be an interesting thing, and that would actually give a bit more to Viking lore and stuff, but I don't think they were all black. I'm pretty sure a lot of them were, you know, pretty pale.
I'm pretty sure they were pale because in the land they came from, in the land a lot of the Norse people came from, there were long stretches of time where the sun was only up for maybe an hour a day.
That's kind of what we decided, is like, the melanin wouldn't have done anything. It would have actually been a detriment, scientifically.
It's like they didn't get enough vitamin D as it was, having melanin in there.
We're not saying Vikings couldn't be black, and we're not saying black people can't be Vikings. Vikings, if anyone African American wants to have a Viking and wear the helmet and go out and pillage and be a badass Viking, not only can you do it, but I highly recommend it. It is fun.
But it's very highly unlikely that there were a great number of people with any substantial amount of melanin in their skin, just because it would restrict the amount of vitamin D they could get when there were several months out of the year when sunlight was a very precious commodity.
Which is why I also never say there were white and blue warriors, for an example, because I'm not that well versed on types of African warriors, sadly. As interesting as the culture is, I've read enough of it to go, ooh, culture is really cool. There is no way there could have been a white Zulu warrior because they would have died of skin cancer within an hour.
Yeah, that is the thing. That's why you do not have a great many white ancestries from anywhere in Africa.
In fact, I'm pretty sure the only white Africans are in South Africa from colonists.
Yes. And South Africa and the very immediate surrounding areas are probably about the only real points in Africa that white people could have remained white. If you know what I mean by that. And even then, just if they were, native to that whole area, yeah, they probably would have darkened up some just over the years.
So, they were talking evolution. Again, it's not your skin color determines if you can do this. It is whether you were born with ancestors to this. Yeah. There's a difference. Again, as I said, it doesn't matter your skin color. If you want to grab a Viking helmet and Viking clothes and just go ham as a Viking, go for it, dude. It's fun. I am of that mindset. I'm actually the mindset that cultures should be shared because it's more fun. Who wouldn't want more holidays, more celebrations, more festivities, more types of food, more types of drinks?
Yeah. And keep in mind, everything that I'm saying as a fairly ignorant white person when it comes to race issues.
And I will say, if anyone says you are inferior because of, X, Y, or Z, they're the inferior ones, not you, because they're jerks. Big, ugly, stinky jerks.
But if anyone comes up and tells you that, you're inferior because, hey, you're racist, and
maybe rethink that.
And maybe actually consider whether they might have a point. I mean, I know being called a racist is probably the only actual insult that manages to land and actually affect most white people. I'm aware of this. I also find it incredibly hilarious that the group that, 2 years ago walked around with shirts that literally said, "Fuck your feelings," got so freaking upset when a football player refused to stand for the national anthem.
Wait, which group was this?
Trump supporters.
Oh. Yeah, you want to laugh? I tried to refuse to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance in high school. I hated saying it.
But I mean, Colin Kaepernick, however you actually pronounce his last name, I don't remember.
I'm not going to say how I'm going to pronounce his last name from here on out. That is rude. I will let you use your...
Basically, he refused to stand for the national anthem at football games because, well...
Oh, I thought he was one of the Trump supporters. Never mind.
No.
I apologize.
No, he was the NFL quarterback that started the whole trend of kneeling during the national anthem.
Oh, him! I didn't know.
Yeah.
Okay. Name mix up. I apologize. That's on me. Oh, yeah, no, he's cool.
Yeah, him. And the people that were walking around in 2016 with the whole "fuck your feelings" T-shirts
and your feelings hurt.
were just losing their ever-loving mind. That
yeah, I remember right.
Dare this person? How dare somebody not stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? How dare they disrespect our troops? Blah, 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 blah.
America! America! America!
Yeah, I know. But yeah, it's just so amazing how quickly they got their little fifis hurt.
Sorry, dude. You can't say fuck your feelings and then get your feelings fucking hurt.
Yeah, basically.
Because, here's the thing. He was exercising his right to...
protest.
Yeah.
If nothing else, that was a right to protest. And
here's the thing. It wasn't disruptive.
Nope.
He wasn't jumping up and down screaming. He wasn't doing the Macarena. He wasn't banging on a pot and pan.
Nope. He
was
just kneeled. That's it. He said nothing until he was asked about it. He didn't even push it in anybody's face. He just did it as his form of protest.
It was
and what
happened?
Respect. Yeah, people just ever-loving lost their mind. And I think it was Matt Boers that actually pinned a pretty good comic on the whole thing. It showed a black guy protesting, doing, typical protesting things, being at, kind of an anti-whatever rally. And the white guy's going, nope, you're too disruptive. Can't you protest a little quieter or something like that? Then it shows the black guy kneeling for, the Pledge of Allegiance. He says, nope, that's too disruptive. You got to be a little quieter than that. And then the next panel, I'm probably missing a few panels here, but the next panel shows the black guy dead from a cop shooting him, and the white guy was going, yes, perfect, just like that.
Don't get me started on those cops that really shoot people. I have cops in my family. They piss me off. Those types of cops kind of for like a variety of reasons.
But no, it's the people that were just decrying how much protest was actually going on. They say, well, we'll listen to you if you're quiet, and then they do quiet protest, and what happens?
They get all mad.
Yeah, it's like, oh, you can't protest like that.
Here's the thing. He was kneeling in front of the flag, meaning he was showing respect for the flag itself. But he was not doing it in the traditional way, because that's how the people he's protesting against do it. Hello, Pete.
Gee, a stream on an election day is very highly political. Who would have ever imagined that? Yeah, who would have ever imagined that a stream on an election day?
Didn't that kind of backfire though, and that other people started kneeling in protest? I remember
people started kneeling in protest, and then, well, basically they're trying to put an end to it any way they can.
Yeah, people.
The NFL owners are jackasses
idiots
for the most part.
Well, I don't like football anyway, so poor players.
See, I like football. I just don't like the organizations that got built up around football. That's the problem.
Well, as I said, the only player I don't really like is who's the one all the conservatives really like? Tom Brady or something?
Oh yeah, Tom Brady is the wunderkind. Tom Brady is that Johnny Football type player.
Screw him. What did Amonimus do? ramp Amonimus built. Trying to jump into it.
I would imagine it's a slightly different world with Russian politics and Russian,
My ex told me a joke about Russian politics, and Amonimus, you may confirm this for me. Putin and his favorite crony, I forget his name, but the guy he usually switches the leadership with, are drinking and talking, and in the midst of it, they look at him and go, wait, which one of us is the president again? I forgot. Is that about right, Amonimus? Because I actually know one thing about Russian politics. They do have the 4-year term. And you cannot do two 4-year terms more than 8 years consecutively. The problem is there's no limit on how many times you can run as long as you...
You just have to take a break between the...
Yep.
You just have to do 2 terms, then take a break, then 2 more terms.
1 term and take a break, actually.
Oh, 1 term and take it? Okay.
Yeah, 1 term and take a break.
So you basically got 2 people from the same party just trading positions.
Yep.
Which honestly is not a huge surprise.
This is why I kind of like the fact that once a president is done, they're done.
Yeah. Unfortunately, for a multitude of reasons, limited terms don't work for Congress. They might have worked if we'd done it from the very beginning, but we didn't. So now, we can't get away with it. That's one of those things that if we'd done it from the very beginning, we probably could have gotten away with limiting terms to 8 years. Or 10,
Practice.
or however many. But it's just we didn't do that. In fact, we didn't even limit presidential terms until, 90 years ago.
Yeah, and that was because the president died in office.
That's because we elected him 4 freaking times.
At least he was.
He was a good president. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
Even if the current crop of conservatives is dead set on demonizing him. All the conservatives are dead set on demonizing him. Because he was the one that came up with the most socialist programs following the Depression. And kind of funny how all those socialist programs actually got our economy back in track.
Yeah.
Kind of funny how Minnesota elects a lot of socialist and progressivist economic stuff and become not the leader because California has a GDP bigger than most countries. But basically become one of the best states to live in from an economic standpoint very shortly after.
My cat is purring in agreement.
Yeah.
That I didn't know, but hey, go Minnesota!
Yeah, Minnesota basically, they instituted a tax on the highest 10% of wage earners that went to actually fund social projects. And funny enough, if you give people at the bottom money, that money actually circulates into the economy. Funny how that works.
Yes, because they will spend it.
Because they don't hoard their wealth like a dragon. They actually decide, hey, I can use this to actually buy myself some stuff, and it stimulates the economy at the same time.
Hey, I have a little extra spending cash. I'm going to go buy that Switch I want.
Yeah. It's like, hey, I can afford that new car with my wage increases, minimum wage, yeah, that went up. Things like that, Hang on, I will go find the list of things that they put up. in a second, and I will read it off here.
There's one thing I think we should try doing that a lot of countries do, and it seems to work, is the minimum, like, the government gives you, like, a minimum to live off of every month, no matter what.
Oh yeah, Mincome.
Oh, that's what it's called, Mincome?
Mincome, yes.
I was waiting for a simplified. I think that would be amazing.
Oh yeah, that would be just amazing. It didn't matter if you deserved it. It didn't matter if you were actually rich already. It didn't matter if you have money. It didn't matter if you're broke. Didn't matter if you're poor. As long as you're above a certain, as long as you're actually a citizen, you get money every month just to help cover basic survival. It's not a huge thing. It's not, you know, the most money ever seen in the history of the universe, but it is enough to afford rent.
And food, and shelter, and whatever else you need.
Yeah, okay. Minnesota raises taxes on the rich to fund education, passes an equal pay law, and raises the minimum wage.
Go Minnesota!
They started from a $2.6 billion deficit and now have a $1 billion surplus. They are now the 5th fastest growing economy in the U.S., and employment has dropped to 3.2%, and now has the highest economic confidence in the U.S.
You mean actually taking care of your will get you money?
Amazing, huh?
It's like, it's called freaking logic!
Yeah. That's kind of amazing, isn't it?
Why? Technically, Mincome means the rich would be getting it too, no matter
Yes,
what.
the rich would get it.
So they'd be getting more money just by existing.
But, you know what the rub is for the rich, right?
The tax?
No. It's not the tax. It's the fact that a lot of rich people, say business owners, they get to keep wages down by having people desperate for money.
Ah.
I know it's kind of backwards, but they actually profit
That's
very
right.
greatly by having people that are too stressed out from lack of money, so they're too tired to actually go look for better jobs and improve their living situation, so they get to keep their wages down and basically
Torture them.
yeah, basically. I mean, Amazon. Look at Amazon. Look what it does to its workers. What would those workers do if they had viable options and weren't entirely reliant on Amazon to, you know, give them money so they could pay bills? How many people do you think would actually still work for Amazon if that were the case?
It'd be all drones.
Yeah. They would have literally no one that would choose the indignity of being forced to put on a diaper or starve and dehydrate themselves so they didn't have to use the restroom. They would have literally no one that would choose to work for them if they didn't have to, if it was not their only single choice. I used to have Twitch followers.
I'm pretty sure most people with Twitch would agree with you. Like, the only reason...
It's possible, but it's just kind of that thought, I'm being political and I'm being very, very, in this climate, extreme freaking left-wing.
The
Not
fact
even
that you're...
moderately left-wing. I'm going near full-on communist here.
The thing is, no, you're not. Really. I know what communism is. What you are going is human decency. This is all human freaking decency. This is all shit that we should be doing. This isn't socialism. This isn't just socialism or communism. This is No! This will do better for everyone, including the people who don't like the idea because they're greedy.
But the thing is, you know what the end state of capitalism is. The end state of capitalism is one person has all the money and nobody else has any. That is the end goal of capitalism.